So welcome everyone to Adventure and Explore Without Leaving Your Classroom with Cameron Steltman, and I can assure you this is an amazing opportunity to learn how to take your class on incredible experiences. It's always wonderful to have people from all over Ontario joining us for these OTF Connect sessions and professional development at night. So I'm going to turn it right over to Cameron.
Awesome. Well, welcome. And like Molly said, thank you so much for coming. I know it's report card season and everybody's busy, and so taking that perfect time to carve out some time for yourself for some professional learning is just amazing. So thank you for coming. Today we're adventuring and exploring without leaving the classroom. I'm Cameron Steltman. If you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at Mr. Steltman. And Molly has just sent out a link on the left, the goo.gl link that you see here on this first slide. That's actually going to take you directly to the actual Google slideshow. This Google slideshow is all the pictures you'll see here, except that the links will be live, the videos will be live, and you'll actually have that resource now with you that you can take with you anywhere you'd like. So I really like that. Something different about the way we do OTF Connects as opposed to some other ones where I've done webinars is that you can't see my screen while I do it. So a lot of mine are videos teaching you the things that I would have shown you on my screen. So if there's any questions, if there's anything that's unclear in the videos or you're just not sure what's going on, please do post your questions in the comments. The comment way is the best way to talk to me. So let's get going. So today we are going to do a few different things. I'm hoping to get through to do some Google Street View, some Google Tourbuilder. We're going to look at Google MyMaps. And then we're going to switch gears and look at how we can connect with experts through exploring by the seat of your pants, and a way to do that purposefully using Google Slides by building a virtual adventure log. And then we even have some bonus learning from Mally, who is going to show us some things that she does and she's used in her classroom as well, which is really, really exciting. So yeah, please, let's follow along. Today has also been very purposely built. There's a lot of playtime in mind. I find with these tools, we hear about them, we see so many, or you see something on Twitter or whatever, and you're like, oh, I just wish I had time. So you've built in this time tonight to be here, so I've built some time within the slideshow for you to actually play with the tools. Get messy with it, and I'm here in case you have any questions about it. We don't have to be experts with it. Students will be amazing once we show them, but if we have that playtime, I find that we can do a lot better and we're more likely to actually use our tools. The link is on all the slides, so feel free to share that with others if you think that learning would be purposeful for anyone else. So I'm going to point you to the tools, and I'd love if we can have a conversation in the chat so that we can talk about all the different ways that we can actually use this in our classrooms, because I'm sure we're all from different grades and different divisions, but I think that we all as teachers got such great ideas, and let's share as many as we can. So let's get going. So the first thing we're going to look at today is Google Street View. It's an app that's found on iPhones, iPads, it's on Android devices, and it's also on the web. So I'm going to show you how I've used it, or show you an example of how it's used on Chromebooks, and then from there we can go and get a chance to kind of explore it on our own. So Mally, if you could put up the Google slide, or the Google Street View video first, I'd appreciate it. So this is a link to Street View. And then there's actually one that takes us to that video directly.
So this is the link, Cameron, that you gave me. So is it the oceans or the winery one?
Oh, neither. It's actually the one from the slideshow before. I will grab that link and post it out right now.
Sorry.
No problem. Here it is. All right. So that that link should take you directly to the video about Street View.
So if you want to click on that link, it'll take you right to the video, and actually, or let's see if it'll work in the viewer. I'm still trying to deal with the attendance, like the people dinging in.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. Let's see if it'll work here. There we go.
Beautiful. click on click slideshow. Here we are in Google Street View. The thing about Google Street View is it works on a multitude of platforms. You can do it with your phones, you can do it on iPads. It's just an app that you So that's awesome. I'm glad that that worked. I'm just going to try and flip us back to, oh, here we are, back to the whiteboard. Beautiful. So yeah, so as a questioning thing, the Google Street View is an awesome idea. It takes you to so many natural wonders and world landmarks. Something neat it also had a little while ago is it allowed you to explore, because the Batman movie was coming out, so this was probably 3 years ago, you could actually explore Bruce Wayne's mansion, and it let you go into the mansion and then down the stairs and into the Bat Cave, and the kids were just blown away. They thought it was so cool. So I also have these two examples that work really well. The oceans, so Google has taken their divers down and you can explore a lot of the oceans. Yep, there are computers that aren't Macs, indeed. So yeah, you can go down and take your class to the ocean, but maybe you're thinking for yourself. I know that after report cards, sometimes we all need a wine or to go visit a brewery, and maybe we can't get to California to really see what's out there. So the second link, if you're on the Google slideshow, or the links that Mally are putting out, one will take you to the oceans, and the second one will take you directly to the wineries and breweries, and you can see what that's like. So what I'd like to do is, just for the next 5 minutes, just explore Street View. Maybe pick 2 or 3 places to explore, and if you could come back and maybe type how you could use that with your class, or a way in which your class might find that engaging, or how you could use that, I feel like we could all really learn from each other. So if we take the next 5 minutes to explore Street View, I think that's kind of a fun way to kick it off. Just like I sometimes use Street View to kick off lessons with my students, maybe this would be a good way to kick off our session right now. So let's take 5 minutes, and then please do check in and let us know what you're thinking. One thing I did want to mention, my students are always asking, how do I move through the places? And if you use the number keys, or the arrow keys, you can go forwards, backwards, left and right, and turn. So the students, especially the younger students, they like to know how to do that. Yeah, Chris, sorry. To search, I just use Command F, or because I'm on a Mac, or Control F if you're on not Mac. That kind of just lets you search for a word in a page. Street View itself does not have a search option, so you can just go to the gallery, which if you go on that link, it takes you to the gallery, and you can go through that way, and you can kind of find something you're excited about. The other thing to know about Street View too is that a ton of it has kind of a different view in if you're doing it on mobile. So it is a really, really good app. It's maybe not as great of a website, but I like it because if I can pull it up on my computer and put it up on the whiteboard, the kids really enjoy feeling like we're going through the ocean or we're doing something like that. Welcome, Ingrid. Thank you so much for coming. Right now we are just looking at Google Street View. This is the link to get there, and we're just trying to find a place and see how we would use it in our classroom. Melanie has said that she really likes the Mexico one. Agreed. It is so nice to see them, because all kids have that mall as that comparative, right? So it's such a neat way to see, hey, this is what a mall looks like in a different place. For anybody else who just joined too, I'll just send you the link to the Google slideshow, which is short-linked. It will allow you to follow along on here. I see that we have 4 people following along, and if you aren't, it's kind of a nice thing to have because then you have a copy of this presentation forever, and it has all the videos are linked right in the Google slideshow itself. Thanks, Molly. Yeah, comparing similarities and differences, this is such a great thing to do because you can visit so many countries in such a short period of time, walk around for 30 seconds and see this country, walk around for 30 seconds in another country. So yeah, thanks so much, Melanie, for sharing. And anybody else who has any ideas about how they would use this in their class or things that they like or questions that you have, please do post them. We've got about 45 seconds left to explore and then we'll carry on. That's great, Stephanie. Congratulations on getting your Irish citizenship. Yeah, definitely. We could tie it into medieval studies. That's great. Yep, even a volcano. I've had students who knew they were going on trips, so they went through and they were like, oh, this is what we're going to see, or people who came back from trips and they just thought, what a neat way to like reconnect with that. And it also then when they wanted to write about things, they had so much schema already built up on what they could write about. That's it. We can also stay at home and just virtually visit all these places. All right, I'm going to ask you to come back if you could. Our timer was on for 5 hours, I believe. So there it goes. Thank you so much, Melanie. So that was our first trip, and we were able to visit a few different countries. So I heard Ireland. Were there any other cool places that people visited? If you wanted to just type in and say anything cool that you saw while you were there, or if you could just give me a thumbs up if you think this is something that maybe you could use in your classroom. South Africa, Italy. Yeah, I was just flicking through. There's like hundreds of places you can go. Argentina, the volcano, the Amazon. The elephant reserve in Kenya is very, very cool as well. Students really enjoy walking around that. Oh, Jim, that's so great to hear. That's the whole goal, right? We want to make sure that you're getting things that you can use right for your class tomorrow. So, awesome. Thank you so much to you guys who shared. As we move on, let's hope out the next thing. Nice, Jen. Kenya. Here we go. So the next tool has got to be one of my absolute favorite tools that I share with people, because if you haven't seen it, it truly is almost mind-blowing. You're like, how can you do that? So what Google Tourbuilder is it allows you to build a story as like a slideshow, so you can flick through location by location by location, but with the real street view, the actual places that are there. So this is such a cool tool. So I'm just going to, I think I have the right link, so I'm going to ask Mally to put it out, but if not, I have it right here as well. So if we could put out the link for Google Tourbuilder, we can watch this video, hopefully, together. Let's see how that works. Oh, that's the link to Tourbuilder. Here's the link to the video. So this is the video, so I will do the web follow, paste in the link, and try that. One awesome way you can use Google Tourbuilder is to create literature journeys. Awesome. So I hope that that made sense. That's a really great example. The really cool thing about this is it allows you to get really into just about any real-life text. If you're talking about a location in the world, you can really see it and walk around there and have a better experience. Like, it's just so much more than Street View. You can go almost anywhere in the world. Another thing that I've done a lot with my students is in grade 6, we talk about, citizenship and what it means to be a citizen. And we did a where did we come from? So all the students found out where their grandparents were born, where their parents were born, like specifically the cities, and they built like a tour of how they kind of became Canadian and how did we get here. Here's an example of the one that I did for me, so if you want to, you can go through and really, it was done a few years ago when my first daughter was born, but you can kind of see what that would look like in one way too. And I had students who were going to the Netherlands, and actually I was with a class the other day, and they were going to Estonia because that's where their grandparents are all from Estonia. So it was so neat to see. So let's take some time to actually see how to build one. So we're going to get a chance to build one. I'm going to put on the video for how to build it, and then I'm going to give you some time to actually build it, because I think if you take that time to explore, to actually build it together, you'll get a lot more out of it, and you'll be far more likely to try it. So let me just grab that tour link, and I think we should be good to go. So I'm going to pause this, pause that. Let's talk about how to build the tour on Google Tourbuilder. Now, tours. So it sounds from the comments that people are excited, so I really do want you to have a chance to try it, because unless you play with it, it doesn't make sense. I don't know if 15 minutes will be enough. I hope it is. I'm trying to carve out this time, so if you find that you're done and you want to move on, please feel free to mention it in the chat. If you need a few more minutes and 15 minutes is enough, mention that in the chat as well. I'm completely open. Like I said, this Google link to my slideshow, which you see the letters for constantly, this link will give you the entire slideshow, which has these videos embedded right inside of it. So you have everything that I'm going to talk about with you forever, so you can always go back, watch the videos, do it again and again. So let's take the next 15 minutes now to build one. See if you can build and share one, just so that we can kind of see what you guys have come up with. And if you have any ideas for how else you could use it in your classroom, Jen had a great idea for how she's going to be doing it with her kids, which is awesome, or how I will be doing it with her kids through her amazing idea. So I'm really excited about that. So let's go and take the next 15 minutes for Tourbuilder. I'll just post that Tourbuilder link again one more time. It's tourbuilderwithgoogle.com or tourbuilder.withgoogle.com. Looks like this. And yeah, go there, click sign in with your Google account, and you're off to the races. Let me know if you have any questions or anything I can help with. Oh, and Mally, could we get 15 minutes on the timer? Yeah. Oh, and minutes, not hours. That's right, and we're going to use it for Heritage and Celebrations Unit 2. So in grade 2, this has got tons, and Jen's kids were amazing. They did it once, and they were able to go everywhere. They went to the White House and explored. They went to Canada's Wonderland was a popular place. We went all around the world, and they were so good at, oh, how do I spell this, and sounding it out. And so using it for that as well was good. They're just so capable, even in grade 2, just perfectly capable to use this tool to explore, and they were engaged in their learning. So it is a great, great tool. So explore and let me know. How is this different than Maps? If you are on Google My Maps, you can't do Street View. If you're on Google Earth, you can do Street View. What this does is it allows you to build it as a story. So each location becomes a slide, and then all your locations or slides become a story that you then tell. So because you can add video histories, you can add pictures, because you can do all of those things, you really build a much deeper story, and then when you share it, it comes out as a story, more as like a tour of something, right? So I find that's one way. And that's something I really wanted to mention, is that the video capability, that you can add videos or pictures. You can really do things, so exploring, if you're talking about ancient civilizations, you can compare what the locations look like now to what it used to be. Kids can students can put their research right inside of the little explanation boxes, so you can see all the different things they've learned. It's got far-reaching applications, and I would love for anybody who thinks how they could do it, and I see Melanie's dropping an idea right now, which is awesome. Any way that you think you could use it, please do share, because I know once we see somebody else's idea, it rolls into more ideas. So let us know what you think. Melissa triggered something in my mind too, talking about how seeing the inequity in places and in different cities. Something that would be really, really neat to do is something you should tell your students is that not every country has the street view ability where you drop the little man. You can still showcase locations from above, like the satellite view, but you can't do street view locations in certain places. So places like China, places like certain parts of India didn't let it. Pakistan is more open now. United Arab Emirates you can't do for most of the places. So the reason being is that those countries have strict policies, and they don't want Google's Street View cars or people driving around. So there's lots of places you can't see. All of China you can only see above. So knowing that is good beforehand. Something that's kind of sad, but that is changing, is that if you want to go, last year with First Nations, we wanted to go to some reserves and walk through there, and most of the reserves you couldn't walk through. The cars hadn't been through there yet. And I actually was working with someone who was doing a project called Walk With Us, her goal was to get Street View through so people could see what life was like on the reserve. And as that's happening, it's really, really cool to start being able to take your kids through a reserve compared to their town, compared to another town, and it's just a really, really neat way to see how everybody is living even within our country or within our province. Just as we hit this 7-minute mark, I just wanted to check in and see that people were still finding it useful this time and engaging. Please do let me know if you think it's time to move on. I won't be offended anyway. I want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your night. So let me know if you want to use the time. Do see how you can build the tour. If somebody could share a tour they've created, it would be awesome for us to be able to click on that link and see how you've done that. If you make something meaningful that you can use in class in the future, I know that anytime I've done that has been really good. One last idea I wanted to share with you too. It's not school related, but my friend and I, we did it, and he showed his mom, and she did it for her last trip that she went on. So instead of a slideshow, you know, we used to see slideshows, she made a tour of all the locations she went to, and then at each location she put in a few of her pictures and a few of her videos right up there in the little box where you can add those. And so she was able to kind of keep a tour of her trip that she went on, going to the actual locations, seeing what they look like, and having all those pictures and videos as a part of it. So that was something really neat that she was able to do. Thanks so much for sharing that, Melissa. It hasn't been shared, though, so that anyone with the link can view. No, it doesn't work yet. So if you click on that share button, right now it'll say private. If you change it, though, so if you're in the tour itself, you'll click share, inside of it, share, and then change, and then you can click anyone has the link, and then your link should work. Perfect, it works now. That's awesome. An introduction. That's great. The one thing I would suggest when you're there is if you do the street view, if you drop that little man in when you get to your locations, and then once you've dropped that in and then click Add to Tour, if you drop in first and then click Add to Tour, it'll give you the street view when you get to the locations. So it'll take people right in on Street View itself. Does that make sense? Oh, Chris, you just copy the link that they give you? Or I think the link right actually at the top will work as well, the link right in that bar up at the top, and then you can just copy and paste that and share it any way you'd like, so you can paste it right here. To go back and edit, you click on the three lines that are beside share, create new tour. The three lines, one of those options should be edit, and you can go right back in. So, awesome. So that's our time. If you would like more time, that is fine as well, but if not, we can move on to exploring MyMaps. So I'll just wait for 2 or 3 people to give me an indication of what they'd like to do, and if I don't hear anything, I'll move on. I think Chris was going to share her link, it sounded like, so I'm going to give her a chance to do that so we can see how that worked for her, and then, yeah, we can move right on. Command-C, Command-V, or Control-C, Control-V. Oh, no, not a broken mouse. Oh, Stephanie, that's so good to hear. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And think about, if you're enjoying it too as an adult, think about how much fun the students will have doing it. They just love seeing this. Oh, yeah, I'd be happy to say it about the little man. So when you're going through on your tour, if you go to your location, and this probably applies to all of us, so this just means I didn't instruct it very well. When you go to your locations, you get there, you'll search your location. Don't click Add to Tour right away. First drop in the little blue person. And then once you've dropped the little blue person in, find where you want to go, like walk there, whatever, and then click Add to Tour. Because if you click Add to Tour right off the hop, it just gives you the shot above, that satellite view. But if you take the time to drag into Street View or go specifically and then walk and go to the specific place, you can actually, then your locations on the tour aren't satellite view, rather they become Street View like you saw in my example. I'm hoping that makes sense. If I could share my screen, I would love to do that to show you, but I hope that works. Does that make sense though? Chris, your locations were awesome. Everything worked good. It was just I couldn't, when you dropped me in, I wasn't dropped right into the actual location. Like I was at the countries, but just above them as opposed to inside of them. And that's a fix that we can easily do. That makes sense to everybody, though? Are we ready to carry on? Yeah, we can become experts. You can think about a biography, too. You could do a biography of somebody they're studying. Where did these people go? Where have they been? Oh, okay, Chris, good. That's perfect. So yeah, I was thinking about like Nelson Mandela. We could tell his story. You can tell the story of anyone. And oh yeah, Chris, that works great because when I got to Kitchener, I dropped right into exactly where you were. Adding images happens when you're in the slides themselves, like before you add location. So you search for a location, and then right there up at the top, it gives you the add location option. So I'm just going to edit mine just to make sure I'm explaining that right. So you click. So on any of your locations, so I have one on the left-hand side, it has your location name, and then right underneath it says enhance the story, add photos and videos. And you can add up to 25 photos and videos about that location to make the story make more sense. Does that answer your question, Jim? Awesome. Awesome, and I think I mentioned some of these things in the video, so you remember you have that link to that video, so it'll be there again and again. All right, so as much as I hate to do this, anytime I show this tool too, if I'm leading any sessions, people are always like, we're going to need to spend some more time doing this, but I do want to show you the next thing as well. So if there's nobody who's demanding that we stay, I think we'll move on to Google My Maps. Thank you for engaging with it. I hope you're finding it helpful and seeing how you can use it with your kids. Let's go to the next page. So next to what we're going to look at is also within the Google suite of products. It's called Google My Maps, and it's now far easier for students to find it. It's far better it's just more easily accessible because now when you're in your Google Drive, you can click New, More, and then click My Maps and create a My Map. So I'm hoping this video here, which I'm just going to double check, I'm going to ask Mally to put up the link for it, but I'm just going to double check that it works just because I'm not confident in my own sharing abilities. I'm going to take this video, and if you could, it's about 9 minutes long, but it's going to walk you through the entire process for how to use Google My Maps. I could show you myself, which would probably also take 9 minutes, but with all my chitter chat, probably would go longer. So here's the link. We'll go into the web tour. It'll play up here, and it's a very cool tool. It's just a different way to do it. So thank you so much for listening to that. I threw some comments here on the side while we were doing it. I'm wondering if people are understanding what's going on, like making sure that it makes sense. Just a quick check-in. Is it good? Do you guys like this idea? Is it something you feel like you could use? The big selling feature of it is that collaboration piece. You can have 30 kids working on it all at the same time, which is awesome, and they're all just picking different locations and doing their own work on the same thing. If you split them into groups and you use the layers feature, each group can work on something different, and then you can remove the layers as you see fit and then add them in, and you can kind of like build something over. So maybe you've got people who came over in different years. So if we were talking about people who came to Canada, and you could see, oh, at the start there was tons of people from Ireland, and now we're seeing people from different countries, and you can see that just as build the layers on, which is, I think, really good. And something I've actually done with my kids this week was drawing polygons all over the world, describing their attributes, changing the name to what the polygon actually was. So like rectangle, it has 4 right angles, and the kids really, really enjoyed doing it. Yeah, you do need practice. It is overwhelming, and that's always how I tend to do it. You know, I give you a whole bunch of stuff. But one of the things too is that our students are so capable. They're so good. If you put them out and you say, here's a map, we're all going to just mess around on it today. What cool features can you explore? There'd be tons of things that they would discover that I haven't shown you. There's lots of things about MyMaps too that you're going to see that I haven't talked about. That is just, yeah, takes it even further. But give your kids that empowerment, because they will just blow you away with what they can do. Let me show you an example of what they what I saw my grade 6s do last year. So this is the link. Just going to copy link address and paste it in here. Here's a video that my students did, and I will just paste this in here, and we can check this out. And then I'm going to give you a chance to play with Google My Maps. Let's check out a student example of how this. So I know it is kind of yikes. So I know it is kind of overwhelming, all of this stuff. There's so much to do and so much to learn, which is why I try to build in that purposeful playtime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you just less than 5 minutes to look at My Maps. Just maybe try out one of those features, maybe see what it looks like to add a layer or one of those kind of things. Just explore that for a second, because then we've got 2 more really cool things that I'd like to explore. So there's our 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Mally is just incredible. I do want to take this time, too, to thank her for all the work that she's put in tonight, because I know it's been extra work trying to make sure everybody gets in here. So enjoy My Maps for 4 minutes, and then on we go to explore by the seat of our pants. Yeah, with the Olympics, that's such a great idea, and you could even have, because it allows you to put in video and pictures, you could have pictures of past years, like past great medals. You could do a bunch of different pins where past gold medal winners have been from. So I was even thinking about that John, the one who hosts The Amazing Race, like if you could put a pin right where his hometown was, you could have a pin of that. You could have a brief biography of him, a medal of his winning run, definitely get that thing of where he chugs that beer on his way up to the gold medal ceremony. Like, you could get so much out of this, and the Olympics is such a good way to tie the whole world together, and this is such a good way to show the world on one flat place. So thank you so much for sharing that Olympic idea. With the commenting feature, I was just saying, you just click on a pin that's already there, and then right underneath you can write it. You can change what they've written, so kids can delete other children's work, which we just talk about norms in our classroom about whether or not we would like someone to do that to us, and that does tend to help. But yeah, this is so great, and thank you so much for everybody sharing. Like, it makes it such a meaningful learning when we're all here. So it's a nice small group, and it's been so nice having everybody talking and sharing their ideas. It makes the learning so much more pleasant. So thank you again for spending your night here doing this with me. And that is our timer, so I'm going to cut us off from My Maps because we have got just less than 20 minutes left tonight, and I want to show you how to explore by the seat of your pants. So here we go. Oh, one thing I did want to share is this wonderful quote, "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only a page." And for some of our students in some of the places where we teach, they're not going to have a chance to travel. They're not going to have a chance to see the world. Just certain things will happen, and this is one way that they can see that the world is out there. So they may not have had a chance to travel yet, but this might spark that joy, that idea that, you know what, I want to travel, I want to go somewhere. So that's something that they could do. So let's explore by the seat of our pants. I will just copy this link, and we can follow along with it. Mally's 10 steps ahead of me always. Let's check out now how we can take ourselves out of the expert role and let others become the experts and bring experts into your class and bring the experience of going around the world and traveling and seeing incredible things and learning about conservation. Let's see how we can do that now. And my favorite website to do this with is exploringbytheseat.com. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. I'll paste that link back up. I hope it does go to say, start to show you though how impressive. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Bonnie. Check out we can take ourselves how impressive it is out of the expert role and let others. So Chris just asked a great question, is membership free? That's the thing I love most about this. It's completely free. But know that within probably 3 days of it being posted, all the camera spots are full. So that's why I really recommend signing up for that newsletter. I signed up and I got one recently, actually this week, and I signed up for February 8th. I've got a Hangout because there's a ton of Hangouts available, but at the same time, it is getting really popular because it's completely free. The experts they bring in are top-notch, and your kids get so much out of it. So I highly, highly recommend it. Sign up for it. Sign up for the newsletter, and see if you can view one as a Hangout. But if it doesn't work, know that those YouTube Live links are great. Like, you just know what time it's going on. So I know January 31st at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Click, go to that live link that he has posted on his thing, and you're watching this happen on YouTube Live. You're really there, really watching with it, and you're getting that same learning, which is incredible. So exploring by the seat of your pants is awesome. And what I like to do, yeah, like Molly says, if your kids are on camera, your kids can ask questions, but usually only one. Usually only one question is about all that they have time for. They're anywhere between usually 30 minutes and an hour, usually less than an hour, usually maximum like 45 minutes, but the people they bring in are top notch. I can't say enough about it. So what we did last year is we started doing a virtual adventure log because my students really loved going on these things. They loved watching them, but I wanted them to get more out of it. I wanted them to focus on their questioning. I wanted them to synthesize their learning while they were watching them. So I had them create these things called virtual adventure logs where we had our Chromebooks out while we were watching them, and there were specific things we were trying to learn while we were doing it. So I'm going to show you an example of that through this next video, which I'm hoping works out. I think I have it right here, or if Molly might already have it up, I'm not sure. But it is another thing I've been doing with my class when we are exploring. A very handy little tool. So let me show you how that happens. Sorry, my talk had been turned off and I was stressing out about how I could do it. So now you can see why I had a quote in my presentations, because there was a quote slide when I was making it from Slides Carnival, so I had to do it. Chris, I love that feedback. That makes me feel really happy that you're finding something useful here. One thing I do want to mention again, and I'm hoping that everybody takes advantage of it, this link is the presentation. This link is the Google slideshow that I created that has all of the videos built right into it. So every video you've seen of me tonight, for most of them I wasn't speaking live. This platform doesn't allow that to happen. But the bonus of that is that all those videos are embedded in that slideshow, this Google slideshow, that is all yours. So know that anything that didn't make sense or you wanted to see again, it's all there for you. So I hope that that's very, very helpful. And with that, I did want to give the last few minutes to Molly, because this is a huge part of the job that she does. And she had 3 other really cool sites that she wanted to mention. So I'm going to turn that over to her just before we wrap it all up.
So thanks, Cameron. When we were sort of practicing on the weekend, I realized that we were sort of living in the same world and using technology to connect kids to really cool experiences. And this is what I do all day. It's something similar to exploring by the seat of your pants, but it's taking kids in northern communities, like way far north remote communities in Canada, on virtual field trips and connecting them to experts and field trips and museums and different organizations. And I thought I'd just share how we do that. It could be another 90-minute presentation, but there are 3 organizations specifically that I use to find experiences for my students. The one of them is, and these, to be sort of upfront and honest, is these are experiences that you pay for. But how often can you take your class, let's say in Fort Frances, to a field trip to the Royal Trail Museum in Drumheller, Alberta, where you can see the dinosaurs and learn about Tyrannosaurus Rex and see actual dinosaur poop fossils and things like that. So these organizations, CILC, which is the Centre for Interactive Learning and Collaboration, and NEPRIS and Passages Canada, allow you to search for people who will bring those experiences to your class. And this sort of thing, and Cameron will probably sort of say the same thing, these sort of connections a few years ago were really difficult, but now you can simply press on either a YouTube live channel or something called Zoom, which is similar to Skype, and it will bring you a one-on-one experience with your students and some of these experts. So, for example, we have the Dinosaur Museum. There is an aquarium it's called the Alaska Sea Life Center, or a shark research center in Florida. We have visits to the Royal Botanical Gardens, which are in Ontario, and an absolutely incredible provider who will look at biodiversity all across the region, but also she also makes comparisons to the region from which the students come. We can connect to authors. There are hundreds of people listed on these websites, so they'll also be in the resources. But I just wanted to share that because it's just another way of bringing the world to your classroom, and it is so incredible. And the way that I used to sell it to my principal was, I'd say to him, look, we've got this opportunity to have this really cool field trip and a great experience for the students, like the Art Gallery in Winnipeg, who have great Indigenous art exhibits. But we can't take our kids there. So for like literally $100, we can bring those experiences to the kids. So it's just another another thing that you can do with your students, and another way to bring these great experiences to your kids. So I want to thank Cameron for probably one of the fastest 90 minutes I've ever spent in OTF Connect. So thanks for letting me share that little bit, and thanks, Cameron. So I'll let you finish off.
Awesome, and that's about all I've got to say too, is thank you, Molly, for sharing that knowledge that you've had, for all your help with dealing with all these technical difficulties, for all of you guys for coming, for sharing your ideas, for persevering through technical difficulties. It had to have been a lot harder for you than it was for me. I sat here and anxiously waited and hoped that people wanted to hear what I had to say, but for you guys, you actually had to take a real active effort to get here. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can find me on Twitter. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. I post stuff from my classroom almost daily, just all my lessons, whatever I'm doing with my grade 5s at the time. So I'm at Mr. Steltman on Twitter. If you have any questions, I'm steltmanc@hdsb.ca. And there will be feedback that pops up afterwards. Just thank you so much for all you guys for sharing your ideas. I just appreciate it so much. It was just such a pleasant way to spend some time. So I really hope you got a lot out of it. And yeah, I hope to see you all on here again sometime.
So I just want to thank Cameron again. That was an absolutely incredible presentation. And as a retired teacher, these are the moments where I really do wish that I had a class again and could go back in and play, but I do have the opportunity that I can zoom into a class virtually and do some of the stuff with them. So thanks so much for teaching us these amazing resources.